when it comes to realistic expectations for the Sixers, I don't think it's even going to come down as much to James Harden. I don't think it's going to come down as much to Joel Embiid. I think what this is really going to come down to, because I think those two players are going to play great. And I think right now, this season, they have their eye on the prize as far as winning a championship, getting to the NBA Finals, whatever it might be. They are both motivated by the same goal for the rest of this year, at the very least, that they are going to force themselves, even if stuff starts to hit the fan, if the honeymoon phase ends up ending earlier than we thought. I think there's enough motivation there. They have the same common goal. Well, they'll be able to work through anything this year. I think it's going to come down to the role players on this team. I think it's going to come down a lot to Tyrese Maxey and how he continues to develop, how Tobias Harris continues to try to find a role for himself in this offense, and how Doc Rivers organizes this talent. I think that's what it's really going to come down to. We know Joel Embiid. I bet the house that Joel Embiid and James Harden are going to be fine together playing throughout this year. But what I think is more so the question is how those other guys are going to perform. Tyrese Maxey continuing to play the way he has. Tobias Harris, like I said, finding his way in this offense. And then the other more strict role players like a George Niang or Furkan Korkmaz, DeAndre Jordan if he joins this team, Willie Cauley-Stein if he gets significant minutes, and also Paul Millsap. These guys, these fringe guys, these role players need to perform and perform at a high level when called upon in order to carry the other half of this load. But I think it comes down mainly to how Doc Rivers organizes this talent. And one thing that this, Jason McIntyre guy, one thing he does point out is the 3-1 leads in the playoffs that Doc Rivers has blown. Yeah, that's not good. And guess what? Every Sixers fan knows that. Every Sixers fan acknowledges that. This is the chance to offset that. Get to an NBA Finals. And we'll look at that pass and be like, well, what are you going to do with those teams? Those teams just didn't have it. Yeah. Well, if we look at that with Doc Rivers and this 76ers team, and we try to project through the future what they could be, it's all going to come down to mainly how Doc Rivers handles this rotation and how Doc Rivers handles this roster. Because if Doc Rivers botches this and tries to reach for too much with James Harden, Joel Embiid, Tobias Harris, and Tyrese Maxey on the floor altogether too much, then you're going to see things start to dwindle and diminish the way that this team is played. But for me, I know that Harden and Embiid are going to play phenomenally well. It's a matter of how it comes together from this point on for everybody else on this roster, and how Doc Rivers is going to try to get the best out of this roster and how he organizes that talent. Those, for me, are you do that, and the expectations for this team will only grow higher. And through the first two games, as I said all throughout yesterday's show, the most amazing thing to me is the spacing. And it's something that we never got to see with Ben Simmons as this team's point guard. We always thought maybe it's down the line. Maybe he'll develop his game. Over this, now, let's see, we'll have another night to do this, and then we'll have tomorrow's show as well. Over this span of time, it has made me already, because I didn't play last night either, it has made me already start to think about what this team could have been without a James Harden trade and Ben Simmons improving at the rate that we've seen some other players, like Joel Embiid, for instance, like Giannis, for instance. We have seen those guys come into the league and improve tenfold year after year after year, where Ben Simmons just kind of stayed around this level and didn't really show a lot of determination, didn't really show a lot of the old college try. Well, for him, it's a college try because he didn't really try in college. But when it comes to Ben Simmons, it just feels like over the last couple of years, watching other guys improve and continue to take steps forward in their game, we just haven't seen it with Ben. And that's the most disappointing thing.